What's up, y'all? It's your boy G, Bacolod, Philippines. Aloha. In this video, I'm going to be comparing pricing for essential items in the Philippines versus the United States. If you're thinking about visiting or even moving here, this video is for you. Let's go. In this video, I will be comparing the living expenses of Asia, particularly the Philippines, to America. Although I've traveled to quite a few Asian countries, this video is particularly referring to the Philippines because that is the country that I've traveled to the most. And it's one that I'm more confident speaking on when comparing the social and economic positions of each country. There are a lot of people that are considering moving to another country, and this is for a lot of different reasons. Maybe you're just exhausted with a lot of things happening in the US right now. Politics, crime, unemployment, high cost of living. Maybe you're divorced. Maybe your relationship's failed and you're just looking for a new start. Some of you just need different weather and new scenery. Mountains, oceans, beaches. Some of you are approaching retirement age and are looking for a place where your money can stretch a little further because you're on a fixed budget. In addition to that, you may have seen videos on YouTube that will provide conflicting information as far as how much money you need in order to live here comfortably. Well, today I hope to give you insight about the cost of basic essentials in the Philippines and how they compare to the United States. This should give you a better idea of how much you need in order to sustain a comfortable lifestyle here in the Philippines. All right, guys, I'm going to be talking about the cost of transportation, the cost of products and foods, not services, because services vary too much and can be subjective, the cost of housing, the salaries, and savings. The first thing we're going to get into is the cost of transportation. Let's start with rideshare apps. In America, a 1-mile trip in an Uber car will cost around $11.95. In the Philippines, the main rideshare app comparable to Uber, Grab. A 1-mile trip in a Grab is approximately 141 pesos. That's equivalent to $2.50. Rideshare apps in the Philippines are much cheaper. To ride the city bus in the county that I currently live in the US, it would cost around $1.10, and that's the fare for seniors and children. The main source of transportation in the Philippines is called the jeepney, which costs 15 pesos. That's the equivalent of 27 cents. Public transportation in the Philippines is much cheaper. Let's talk about used vehicles for a second. Used vehicles overall are cheaper in the Philippines. However, there are certain things that you need to be aware of. Women are still skittish about driving here. About 95% of the used vehicles out there between 5 to 10 years old are owned by men. Consequently, the vehicles will have more wear and tear because men are just harder on cars. The cars will mostly be manual transmission and will read in kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour. Also, it'll be hard to find a car that hasn't been modified or customized in some shape or form. Owners will take off the factory parts and replace them with what they consider improvements, but actually affect the performance and the safety of the car. For instance, they'll take off the factory steering wheel with an airbag and replace it with a racing steering wheel, which has no airbag. So, to make an honest comparison, let's focus on only new vehicles. In the United States, one of the most popular vehicles would be the Toyota Tacoma. Here, you can see that a base model starts at about $36,000. In the Philippines, they have the Toyota Hilux, which is basically Asia's version of the Toyota Tacoma. The Toyota Hilux base model starts at about 1.4 million pesos. This is the equivalent of $26,000. As you can see, the Philippines dominate when it comes to pricing on transportation. Let's compare the cost of products and foods. In the Philippines, you can get a 50-inch LED smart TV for 20,000 pesos. That's the equivalent of $359. At Walmart, you can get a 50-inch LED smart TV for $198. So the US dominates as far as pricing for TVs. But what many of you already know, America has an addiction with entertainment. So we are oversaturated with TV units, which brings the price down considerably. Percentage-wise, Americans watch and own more TV sets than any other country. In fact, the US owns as many TVs as humans, as mentioned in the Washington Post. Let's compare staple household food items. These are only staple items, milk, eggs, etc. Not Oreos, not Gatorade. At Walmart, you can get a 20-pound bag of jasmine rice for $13.66. In the Philippines, you can get a 5-kilogram, 20-pound bag of jasmine rice for 402 pesos, converted to to $7.22. Rice in the Philippines is much cheaper. In the Philippines, you can get a liter of low-fat milk for 109 pesos. 4 liters make a gallon, so that equates to $7.83 for a gallon. You can get a gallon of low-fat milk in the United States for $3.32. The US has milk for much cheaper, but why is that? I don't know. Maybe it's because the Philippines only produces 1% of its milk. The rest is imported. This is why powdered milk is very popular in the Philippines. America, in comparison, is the second largest producer of milk in the world, behind India. Moving along, eggs, you can get a dozen at Walmart for $3.42. In the Philippines, you can get a dozen of eggs for 80 pesos. That converts to $1.44. The Philippines has eggs way cheaper. But you ain't no meat though. None of those are meat. You gotta put your meat in there. Okay, yeah, I gotta put some meat. A whole chicken at Walmart is $6.58. A whole chicken in the Philippines, 233 pesos, converts to $4.19. The Philippines has chicken for much cheaper. Let's talk about housing. In the US, the county that I reside, the cheapest fully furnished studio apartment with no roommates that I found was for $1,700. In the Philippines, you can get a fully furnished studio apartment with an AC unit, all utilities included, electricity, water, and Wi-Fi, all for a whopping 16,000 pesos. That equates to $287 a month. Meaning, if you're retired and you're living only on Social Security of about $1,000 a month, this apartment is only 25% of your income. Combined with other expenses, not including healthcare, you're able to easily afford to live here. While we're discussing pricing, I think it's also important to discuss the wealth gap here in the Philippines. That'll paint a bigger picture overall of the social economic differences and will hopefully instill a little more humility and gratitude for the Filipino community and the privileges that you were blessed with in America. The median monthly salary of an American is about $4,948 compared to the median monthly salary of a Filipino, which equates to about $359 a month. On a daily basis, we can easily make $200. A Filipino will only make about 400 pesos a day. To give you an idea of how much of a disparity in wealth that is, if you go to a Sbarro's in the Philippines and order a value meal, basically a piece of pizza and a drink, you'll pay 319 pesos. Again, they only make 400 pesos a day. That means many of them are working their fingers to the bone for 8 hours a day and only can afford a slice of pizza. In America, we can easily make $200 a day. And with that, we can easily buy about 15 boxes of pizza. So again, if you ever make it to the Philippines, show some respect to the community for their hard work. Help someone if you can, and be grateful you were blessed with the ability to travel and earn a living that compensates you well for the hard work that you did in America. So let's talk about savings. The average amount in an American savings account is $62,000. The average amount in a Filipino savings account is about $12,000. We can conclude that with the salaries that we both are given, they are much better savers. They save twice as much of their salary than we do. And when they make a purchase, it's mostly with cash. They will take your credit card when you make a purchase in the Philippines, but for themselves, they prefer to use just cash. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Hopefully that presentation gave you a better idea of how much money you would need to bring in order to sustain a comfortable life here in the Philippines. It's your boy G. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, be blessed. I'll holla at you later from Bacolod, Philippines. Aloha. If this video was of value to you, like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, it's your boy G. Be blessed. I'll holla at you later. Aloha.